Welcome home, all. It is not a Friday. It is not a Monday. It's another day, and I'm not going to tell you which day it is. But it is a SuperMex Nation day. So you know the deal, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background as we go forward. I will be out of town this coming week on a trip, business trip, doing some good stuff. I'll elaborate a little bit more when I come back. But we'll have a show, the one we're doing tonight. This one will air, and it'll be a little bit of an introduction. We're going to do a few more of those because SuperMex Nation and SuperMex International, the network, is growing. I've been promising that for a while. We have grown slowly and methodically, and again, with purpose. And now we're just ready to, ratchet up the amount. We've got the ability, the infrastructure, and the personnel necessary to add more shows and do it credibly, not just throw some stuff at the wall. We don't do that. So we are going to have more shows. We're at around 5 or 6, 7 programs now, and we'll be to 10 probably through early September. And then I've got a big announcement and some good news. When I return back from my trip, I'll be in Miami and Puerto Rico for roughly a week, and then hustling back because we've got a lot to do. I've got a lot to do personally, but I'm going to make an announcement on a really positive benefit to the network and a positive going forward. Just something that's going to, I don't want to say blow up because that sounds like a kid, and I ain't a kid, but it's going to grow us in ways that I was not able to do before. And it's about distribution and reach. We're going to get to more people. And when I make that announcement, you'll know why. So it's all positive. It's all good. We're growing. And at this point, that contract's signed, by the way. At this point, it is going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Short of me walking out of here tonight and just like rolling over and dying or something. But even then, I've got backup plans for that too. Got backup plans for that. I got other people that are going to carry the mission. So everything's good on my end. So tonight's episode will be an episode of SuperMex Nation. And SuperMex Nation is not 10 minutes of truth. It's not cheap date night, okay? It's that base and that sociocultural, political discussion, talk, conversation with other people, like-minded individuals that want to have good conversation, discussion, and get to solution. Because it's not just enough to talk. We got to have some solution, right? We got to find some answers. Everybody knows what the problems are, but we focus on the problems, and that's quite literally what's going on right now in America. We have problems. Everybody's talking about the problems and blaming everybody, but no one's actually sitting down and solving the problems so that they do not continue, and they don't continue to occur. So that's what we do on SuperMex Nation. So that's what we're doing tonight. And I have the pleasure of introducing you tonight to some friends of mine that are going to host their own original program on SuperMex Nation, and it's much needed. So in my neck of the woods, Central California, we have some areas that are severely underrepresented in terms of academic attainment. There's economic disparity. There's income disparity. And it all boils down to equity. Are these kids in some communities in our area getting the same thing that the other kids are getting so that they have equal opportunity to grow and succeed and live the American dream? And the answer is a resounding no. That's a no. And we're going to provide you with facts, figures, data, and analysis on hard numbers of why those things are not happening. And then, yes, it goes to education. It goes to economies. It goes to jobs. It goes to water. It goes to all of the above in my area. But we're going to draw focus on that, and we're going to present possible solutions. But the two gentlemen that are with me tonight are going to be the principal coordinators and movers, the hosts of that show. And I don't think we haven't gotten to that yet. We'll get to that in a second. But the two gentlemen with me are a former coach of mine, a former wrestling coach. I've known him a long time, a lifetime. He was instrumental in keeping me productive, at least when I was finishing up school, my junior and senior year, and put a lot of time, effort, and money back then into me, which is what a lot of good educators do, by the way. Good educators put their time, effort, and their money into their students and their kids, and it's a good thing. And I've got another educator and another lifetime guy that's going to do things for people and for students and for people in this community. So I'm really, really happy and pleased that we get two people with good hearts and with good intention going forward, because as they do and as they bring their message to SuperMex International, the network, you're going to hear more about the things that you need to know that are going on in a community about income inequality, disparity, access to health care, jobs, etc. The whole thing, right? And it can be all of the above. But these two gentlemen live on the west side of Fresno County in two smaller communities compared to Fresno where I'm at. But their issues and their values are no less important than mine or anybody else that lives in a larger city. Okay? They're human and they're people and they deserve as much as anybody else. Okay, so they're going to provide us with that look. They're going to provide us with something that's unique and different that we do not have right now on the network. And even better, now watch this. Watcha. So, you see that? I did some Spanish on you. See what I did? Watcha. That's Spanish. It's Spanish. So the two gentlemen are going to provide their show and conduct their show entirely in Spanish. We will have more production and more programming in Spanish. We have one right now, and we're going to grow to 2, 3, 4 within a few weeks. And so in my world, I'll remind, and we're going to get to my introduction to my guests, but I'll remind people, and I don't care where you are, all right? This is a constitutional thing. There is no allowance for or description of or requirement for a specific or specified language in the United States Constitution. You heard what I said. English, it is the de facto language of our country. But de facto doesn't mean de jure, by law. It is not in the Constitution. Okay? I'll go a step further. I speak English. I speak better than credible English. We all know that. I spend time to master it. But do we not want to know another language? Because we do know, and this is fact, it's data, it's science. For those of you deniers, you're probably in the wrong place, go somewhere else. Someone that knows more than one language, cognitively processing more than one language, 1, 2, 3, 4, we generally understand them to be a little bit brighter, at least linguistically. It does wonders for the brain. So in my world, the SuperMex Nation world, I want our kids to grow up with 2 or 3 languages. Not just Spanish, okay? We say English because it's a de facto, language of the country, right? Again, not by law though. So when you're out there saying you need to speak English because it's a law, you're wrong. Don't get ahead of yourself and don't get ahead of the skis. English, Spanish, hell, Russian, things keep going the way they're going. German, Chinese, if they keep going the way they're going. My point is that I do believe that our students are better served if they learn multiple languages. And so I would like to see a bilingual world of SuperMex Nation, because that means my kids and my people are going to be smarter than the average. Yeah? So we're doing Spanish, and we're going to continue to go that route. I speak better than credible English. Spanish, not so much. A little bit. All right, I'll just put that on the table. I understand just about everything I hear when someone's speaking Spanish to me, but I have trouble with tenses, verb forms, and conjugation of difficult words or more conceptual words. So I have to think. I have to work it out. So it's not as easy in conversation on air. So I don't do it as much. But I can speak Spanish and I can definitely understand it. I wouldn't say I'm fluent in it. But, watch out, I'm getting better. I'm learning more. I've learned more since I was younger. And I'm going to be fluent in Spanish before this thing's done. Okay, without any further ado, or gilding of the lily, or salt in the margarita. I've got 2 guests. Let's pull up to the full screen here. So to my left, your right camera, is my old coach, Espi Sandoval. He is a lifetime educator, recently retired, longtime educator, teacher. And to his left, my furthest left, is Eliseo Gamino. Do you go by Cheo?
Yes, that's my nickname.
Give the audience the purpose for the nickname.
The nickname was just growing up, is the equivalent. Cheo is the equivalent of Eliseo.
Right.
Just like Pedro, Pete,
You never
Jose,
wanted to do I know a guy who's, his name's Eliseo.
Yes.
Same exact spelling as yours, but he goes by Eliseo.
Well, actually,
I'll put you on the spot.
A lot of teachers growing up, and like I said, in a Hispanic rural community, would pronounce my name Eliseo,
right?
Because they would not be able to pronounce Eliseo,
right?
So it's important that you point that out. Just like, for example, my last name Gamino has the ñ, but they would just call me Gamino throughout.
Right.
But when I'm in Mexico, it's Gamino, and as we became educated, well, the correct name is Gamino.
I think we all get to that happy place, right? The happy place in space where like you got a name, and if someone doesn't say it like with the accent or like properly with enya, right? Like with that especially, they just say the name and it's like, okay, whatever, and you just move on because you know they're talking to you, right? You know they're talking to you,
Correct.
and you get accustomed to it. And if it's in English, and if it's someone that's non-Hispanic, and even Hispanic, Mexican, there are Mexicans that don't speak with that accent or that ability to because they speak English more.
But I will tell you, in regards with the ñ, even mainstream speaking folks, when they say jalapeno, I want that pizza with jalapeno, they pronounce it. When they want to say, oh, we're going to have a piñata, they pronounce it. But it's also important, to keep that uniqueness in the name.
Right. So. It's cultural, but that means we have to keep it alive. We have to be honest. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so we've got. I don't even talk. We haven't talked about it yet, but like a name for a show. I won't put you guys on the spot. I want you to think about it. You two think about it, and then you guys come up with a good name on what it is. But for the most part, I think what we're talking about on air now for our audience, our listeners, is you two guys are going to be talking about education on the west side of Fresno, issues concerning those communities, things that maybe aren't as front and center in terms of attention and public relations and attention on a larger scale, because there are people and kids doing good things out there that maybe we don't know about because they don't get as much attention. So why don't we do this? Give us your communities each and like a little description of, because this is, you guys got to know, it's like we do have an audience that isn't just Fresno. It's bigger and it's much more out there. So they need to know a little bit about your community specifically. When I say west side of Fresno County, they're just like, what does that mean? So we got to flesh it out for them and kind of give a description of like where you guys live individually and your community. It's a chance to plug your community, right? It's a chance to say something good about your community. You want to go first?
Yeah, you know what, Richard, I want to thank you for the introduction.
Oh, you thanking me, Coach? What the hell?
I still
Buy me some breakfast.
Well,
you can buy me some breakfast, huh?
I still remember the wrestling match. So
you always buy me breakfast.
We're still going back to the 80s, but it was a lot of fun in those days.
Yes, it damn was.
And no, you know what? I'm a native, basically, of the West Side. Grew up in Tranquility, San Joaquin.
Trancas.
I lived in Mendota for a short while.
You in Mendota?
In high school, yeah. My senior year in high school, then moved to Mendota. So
I didn't know that.
So I spent some time in Mendota, but now I live in Kerman, and Kerman, it's a great community to live in. But like anything else, the West Side it's a community of need. We have a lot of issues, especially with poverty, water, education. So we call it the Appalachia of the West.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So Huron, San Joaquin, Mendota.
How far is Huron south of Kerman?
Maybe about, I'll say about 40 miles.
It's south, right?
South
and west?
Yeah, southwest.
Yeah.
Southwest, about 40 miles.
Yeah, I mean, because generally when we speak about like the west side, someone over here is going to know Kerman, Mendota, Fireball, and then they're like, oh, okay, what else is out there? But there are all the small communities. Because Fresno Southwest, the county, is big and dips down way over there, right? So Huron's there. Isn't Avenal?
Avenal's there, but Avenal's Kings County. But
Avenal's Kings County. So which one's the one that's like on our border with Kings County? Way down in the southwest. Is there a community there?
Yeah, maybe Kettleman City.
Oh, Kettleman too.
Kettleman City, Avenal. Yeah, it's right on the...
I just know it goes... I mean, most people don't know how big Fresno County is until you had to take a drive and you go like out and you keep driving and it goes on forever, right, till you get to the mountains. But it dips pretty far down southwest into that little corner.
It goes
Kings.
It goes past Coalinga.
Yeah.
Down to San Benito County.
Well, Coalinga's Fresno.
Coalinga's Fresno.
Coalinga's way. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
Coalinga's way out there.
Yeah,
it is.
But it's still Fresno.
You know what they say in Coalinga? Fresno's way out there.
But Fresno County is still quite a bit of miles past Coalinga.
It's
like going west.
So Huron's there. You're at Kerman. What am I missing? Tranquility, San Joaquin.
Mendota.
3 Rocks, baby.
3 Rocks.
3 Rocks. So, homeboy. 3 Rocks. I had some kids from 3 Rocks.
You remember when you coached over there back in the...
Hey, you remember 3 Rocks because in the middle of the night when you're driving home after a tournament and you got to take those boys out to 3 Rocks, man, that's an adventure. Yeah. That's like going that way and then another 2 hours to get home because I lived in Fresno.
Yes.
So taking kids home after a tournament, like in the middle of the night, I wouldn't get home till like 3 or 4 in the morning. 3 Rocks is out
Yeah.
there.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you got to know that. You took my place when I was the coach with the Tranquility. So you know we got to
That
talk
was
about
some work, baby.
We got to talk about Tranquility. You actually
We
coached.
will, we will. You know what? That's actually. I tell you what. When you guys get your show up and running, sometime this coming week, I will come on and just be a guest. And you guys can ask me questions. We'll talk about Tranquility. I mean, I love my time there. I worked my butt off. I tried hard. I did everything I could to make. But you know, those people, those kids, they don't have what other kids have, and it was a challenge to get them equity. You know, and that's just a sport, right? Just wrestling. Trying to keep them up to speed with other people that have far more money and resources, and all the tournaments are over here, and those kids don't have any money at all, and I'd have to go pick them up and then drive them back, and it was. You know, it's work. You know that. It's just work to get them equal access.
You brought up let me interject
Well,
here.
go ahead.
A very important
give me your
point.
town first, though. Give
Yes,
me your town.
Fireball, California, a small agricultural
Firebugs. Firebugs.
small agricultural community,
Eagles.
beautiful community.
Eagles.
Yes, Fireball
I'm
Eagles.
gonna plug my homeboy Bill Magnuson.
Yes,
He's like
yes,
a Bill, old Bill, like
yes.
go
Great-
Eagles.
Great
He's always like
instructor.
go Eagles. Man, that guy's a diehard man.
Yes.
He's literally gonna die like there at Fireball. Go Eagles, brother.
Well,
Go Eagles.
And we'll be proud of it too.
Yeah.
For the work that he's doing, the work he has done,
He is given
and
a
that
lifetime.
he's still doing.
He is given a
Yes.
lifetime.
And we have the beautiful San Joaquin River coming through the middle of town, and it's a great opportunity for kids to do some outdoor camping out there. There's different programs for youth. So Fireball has a nice college, the community college there too, West Hills. There's remodelization. There's a big commitment from the school board, the community leaders, all the stakeholders, in investing in education, because that's what's going to make a difference in regards to giving our kids a pathway to a better way of life,
Right.
to the American dream,
Right.
for a better way of living.
Right.
But you touch on a very
Go
important
ahead.
point.
Finish that point. I cut you off.
You talked about equity, and now with this distance learning, when kids get on a tablet or a Chromebook and they see the background, they begin to notice they don't have the things that other kids have.
Correct.
Nice things, and
Even the Wi-Fi. There's a
Exactly.
disparity in Wi-Fi, in speed.
In
And if
speed.
you don't have speed in your buffering, it's like it's busted up. It's like having some of the kids got a brand new book and you got the
Yeah.
busted up version missing pages.
yes,
I think that's the best analogy for people to understand. That if your Wi-Fi is not good, your connection's not good, then the education
exactly.
isn't good.
Those hot spots in rural communities, they're flimsy, they're glitchy, and sometimes it's like a revolving door. Kids, you can see the computer, I joined and so exit, but it's not their fault. It's the poor connection.
Correct.
And the weakness about providing adequate internet service in that area.
You know what? Let me drill down on that, because I saw something today, and it's not like it's new, but it crystallized. That exactly. Okay, so there were two little Mexican kids in a community, and they're from the low income side of town, and they don't have Wi-Fi at all, meaning they don't have internet at home. They don't have internet. They couldn't have been more than, they had to be like elementary, 5th grade, 6th grade, two little kids, brother and sister, two brothers, I think. And the little video shows them walking. They have their little tablet that they probably got from the school, but they can't use it at home because they don't have internet. So they were walking to the Taco Bell, and they sat outside in the parking lot doing their homework.
Wow.
I just sat there and I'm like, yeah, okay. All you people bitching and complaining about all the things you don't have, these kids aren't crying and complaining. They make things happen. They did what they had to do, which is get up, leave home, go to the Taco Bell, and do their homework. I was just like, so I'm going to tell you both, and you guys are going to be with me 100%, and I hope the rest of you are with me 100% too. That's good Mexican people. We don't cry, bitch, complain, moan. We just do what we need to do to survive and get it done. And that's not better for their learning environment. I think we know that, right? That's not better for their learning environment, but they don't have access. They don't have internet. And I think in this world where everybody thinks that everybody has everything, there's disparity in communities all over this country. Appalachia, right? There's still leftover white folk in Appalachia that don't have anything, that are dirt poor as any Mexican or black guy, right? But that one in particular, when you brought that up, I thought of those two little kids. I saw them. They go down to the Taco Bell because they don't have internet at home. They have to go to the Taco Bell to do their homework during the time of the pandemic. And so it has drawn out and shown a light and draw focus on the income and the economic inequality throughout the country, because that's what I'm, and be honest with you, I'm hoping that's what I really want, for me is, the network, right? SuperMex, the network.
Yes.
That's what I'm hoping you guys do, that you bring those things out and you show, like, hey, listen, this isn't alternative facts or another world we're living in where a politician gets on the mic and tells you what they want you to believe and you believe it and walk off. No, we need truth. We need to see that kids are not getting the same opportunities as others, and they're not crying and complaining about it. That should be rewarded. I mean, Dennis, that should be
Yes.
rewarded. Those two little kids walked to the Taco Bell to do their homework, and they got it done. Okay? Their job is harder than the other kid who doesn't have to. How do we change that dynamic and make it more possible, for them? Those are, like, I'm giving you a large question, but that's a question for your shows, right? That's a question for the show, when you guys get to tackle it. But go ahead and finish that thought. But I was thinking about that as soon as you said that.
Yes,
It's income inequality, economic
yes, so
inequality.
it's very important for educators to be aware of the needs and to allow, and some are coming out with some great ideas to put a superficial background. A lot of times when they look at the dinner table and so forth, to be more respectful and conscious, because some of the kids can be cruel and bully and they call it gassing or put downs based on the type of shoes you wear, or is it Adidas or Nike and so forth, instead of the focus being with mutual respect and about learning. And so this distance learning presents new challenges. And so we need to be conscious and sensitive that some families don't have much, but they do have loyalty and they do have a great sense of value for education, because they know that education is the pathway for the American dream. And here in this great country, that's the way for a better way of life. And so in order to kind of help and prevent from these kids being bullied and so forth, teachers are becoming very creative and putting an artificial backdrop or having this cubicle where the focus is about learning, not about the things you have at home and so forth. And this is not to make anybody feel bad for the success that many families have had or they inherit and so forth, but it is to keep the focus on learning and not on material stuff.
Let me do that. Poor job on my end. Bad host. So I mentioned at the top of the show that you two gentlemen are involved in or part of education, kind of specified with you, but you also hold positions, and those positions are what give you a little bit more access in terms of what you know, your knowledge base, your understanding of communities, systems, and educations. And so let's talk about that a little bit. It's not a political show, not today anyway, but let's give your positions that you're currently in, so that the audience knows that when you guys come in and you have your own show, you're speaking from some, a specific skill set and experience set that regular folk do not have, because you guys have information that you get with respect to your positions in your communities. So go ahead and tell us the positions you hold.
You know what? I'm part of the city council in Kerman.
Kerman City Council.
Kerman City Council. So I've been part of the city council, and you are right about that, because as elected officials, we do not understand what's going on with the city.
You get more information than 99% of everybody else.
Exactly, and we have to realize that if you're an elected official, you have a lot of power.
You got a lot of responsibility.
And a lot of responsibility, and if you use that responsibility and that power wisely, you can accomplish a lot of things for those communities.
And you can change a lot of the inequities.
Exactly, and that's you were hitting on a good point earlier as far as those young men going to Taco Bell. That's in Salinas. That's Salinas.
Was it?
It's Salinas, California.
Okay.
And it went viral. So.
Because they're kind of like us too. That's good. Good. You knew that.
I knew that.
Yeah.
You know what? And
I thought that was badass.
No.
I just like that's, and I'll put it on air here. There was some Mexican kids handling their business.
But it's good. It gives me give you an example. I've been running a program, a dual enrollment program on the west side for students, and we understand Cantua and Three Rocks. There's a little school, Cantua. You remember the little
Cantua
school?
Creek.
So a lot of my students were actually
CC. There's like nobody listening from Cantua Creek, right? We'll get it. CC.
a lot of my students that were taking college classes that would actually go at night and around the school and complete their assignments.
Oh, okay.
Because it's survival.
Yeah.
Because they were using the school internet somehow.
Oh, yeah.
You see, because I asked, how do you get the assignments done? Well, I go at night. So it's survival,
Yeah.
and a lot of our kids, you're right about that. They're going to survive in an environment that they're living in.
I think of that. I think I'll say this, like with Eliseo, maybe not as much as you, but I kind of knew, you too, Coach, and you kind of knew me. We just get it done. You just do what you got to do. We don't break any laws, not doing anything bad, not hurting anybody, right? We just do what we have to do because our situations don't give us the opportunity to just get it done as quick and easy as everybody else. So we got those hurdles, we got those obstacles. And what I've noticed is, like, uniformly, and it's a discussion I'm having. I'm working on a book, by the way. I haven't said anything to you. I'm working on a book, and I'm like synthesizing all this information over a lifetime and watching, learning, and education and other things. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, the conundrum is this: if Mexican, and I'm going to be specific again, not Hispanic, not Latino, not all the other terms, but specifically Mexicans in America, Mexican America. The challenges and the difficulties that we face, we do them with humility, with some vergüenza. For those of you that know what that is, we have vergüenza, we have humility, we have respect, we have some shame, we have a desire to be a part of the country, to live the American dream, right? And what I've noticed is that we're more often than not, we're less likely to complain, cry, moan, and we just kind of put our head down. It's a dual-edged sword, though. The problem is that if you don't say something, you may not get attention. And I'm not talking about the child or the student. If there aren't adults advocating for these things that we're talking about right now, by the way, what you guys are going to do on a show, if you don't have that, then it doesn't draw attention, it doesn't draw focus, and it doesn't shine a light on the things that are not happening. And then that community remains repressed, depressed, and it takes a longer road to get to middle income and above, right? It takes a longer period. So it's like, I try to look at this with the balance. I mean, a little bit of, on my end, raised by a single mom, and she raised me to have it Wednesday, not to complain, not to cry, not to moan, just get it done, You see them over there, they're complaining and crying. While they're doing that, they're not getting the work done. That's the way I was raised. You knew my mom. My mom's a beast. Okay, she never complained. And my mom had a raw deal handed to her, in life. Her life was not easy. I don't even complain about mine compared to hers. But she just got the job done. And so the conundrum is this: if we don't say anything, meaning as a community, as a people, and now I'm talking about Mexican American, the whole damn thing. I'm talking about Mexicans in Chicago. I was telling you, in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Hey, we're all over the place. We have kids. We grow. So we are all over. And I've been doing more travel. I've been on the East Coast more. There are Mexicans in more places. When you would go east, it would be mostly, Puerto Ricanos or Colombians, Dominicans, and some others on the East Coast. And mostly over here, West Coast, it's Mexicans through the Sun Belt. But we've grown. We're in Utah, Colorado, Illinois. We're all over the place, man. We keep growing. But my point is this, that we need to draw the light so that those kids don't have to. So they maintain humility, discipline, and hard work as an ethic and as a process, because that's what makes us strong. That makes America strong, by the way, and I'll say that openly. I don't give a damn what anybody says. The average Mexican American makes America stronger because we're disciplined, we're hardworking, we're values oriented. We don't bitch and complain. We serve in the Army, in the military, in greater numbers than most others. I can go on and on. You guys all know this stuff. But again, point being is that when it's all over and done, it's a double-edged sword where if we don't say anything, then they have to keep hoeing that ugly road, and it takes longer to get to middle class. And you guys both know, I'm sure, that right now the COVID thing is just ripping our people apart. Our numbers are worse than any other subgroup in America right now. Worse than black, worse than any other. Hispanic numbers in America are the highest death rate in America right now. And we've been doing research, me and my little crew here, We've been doing research on it. It's not all fully fleshed, but for the most part, we're frontline workers. We work out in the fields. Fields to factory, that's going to be a show. Fields to factories. Food factories, slaughterhouses. I mean, these things are highly contagious in terms of spread, airborne virus, and packed in large numbers of people with nary a bit of PPE, protective equipment. Those are our people. Those are brown people that are on the front lines, and they're dying in greater numbers than any other group. So we don't say anything for the most part. And that's hard. And I think you guys are with me on this. It's hard to watch that. But you got to balance how we say something, right? Like,
Yes.
because we can lose ourselves. I know both of you, you're not like that. I'm not like that. I don't like to bitch and complain when I don't get what I want. That's not my way. It's find a way. But if we don't say something, then we have to stare in the face right now during this time, during this COVID time, as our people, and I'm going to say this, not just our people because of the color of our skin, but our people, they're Americans, damn it. We're all Americans. And those people are dying in greater numbers than any other subgroup. And they're doing the dirty work. They're feeding this country. They're literally feeding this country while we die. Go ahead.
And to your point, a lot of folks do look at the Hispanics or African Americans or other diverse groups, whether it's here in Fresno, Asian, Hmong, as draining down the social programs. But they also have to understand that we contribute, we spend money, we buy groceries, we put gas, and pay taxes, and we keep the economy
We are
going.
the base of the economy. We
Exactly.
really are. In number and expenditure of dollar, disposable income, we are the base of an economy. I like to tell people that. I'm like, you know what? You know, there were, and I'll say this, I don't give a damn either about this. There were tax breaks that went, and it went to the wealthiest 1%, wealthiest 5%. It didn't trickle back down this way. And so now you're seeing those gaps grow. And I'll stop there, but I'm gonna leave that as a point because I'm gonna say it again. It's factual, it's data driven, it's science driven. Mexican American people, specifically Mexican American people, and Latino, Latinx, all these other names, Hispanic, in general, are dying in greater rates than any other subgroup in America. And like I said, I've been digging in on what's going on.
Yes.
It's because of what our positions are. We have less access to health care. We have less access to a better diet of food. We have not as much money to just go to the doctor if we don't have health care. And the jobs that we do are actually more predisposed to exposure of a virus.
Exactly. It's easy for people to say, well, why don't they just stay home? Because the bills have to get paid.
Because you gotta eat.
If they can't pay their
You gotta
mortgage,
eat.
they're gonna have to leave their home, maybe rent a trailer. If they can't pay the rent on their trailer, they're gonna be out in the street, and we're going to continue the spread of COVID-19
Yeah.
instead of stopping it.
There've
So-
been a bunch of stories, and I've read a lot of them on, just there was a guy, he's like 50-something. He worked in a factory, and he went back to work after when we first quarantined in California. When we first quarantined, right? And then we opened up, and then we got smashed. Now we're doing it again, trying to. We were stupid for reopening too fast. I'll say that, and I called out Gavin Newsom on it. He bowed to pressure from other states because they were opening. Oh, we're going to open. Oh, we got to have to do it too. No, damn it, you save your damn people first. So anyway, this man went home. He had quarantined. I'm not working because the spread. Okay, well, I got to go back to work. Got to make some money. I've got kids to feed. Goes back, dies 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. Caught the virus, and he died from the virus. So it's like your point. What option do we have? Got to eat.
Exactly.
You got to make money, and it's not like our government is doing anything other than the $1,200 for like 6 months. You get my
Yeah.
point. Like $1,200 for 6 months. And I got to do a show on this. I'm going too much. The amount of monies that other countries have spent on their people, month to month, to help them survive and get through a month. They kept them home, and they paid them to stay home so that they can survive. And if that sounds like socialism, oh well, I call it life. That's where I'm at. We don't
Yeah.
do that. We've given one package, and I know for a fact that package was moved mostly to a lot of wealthy people. That they took the lion's share of the money. The regular person got $1,200. Kanye West got $2 million for a clothing company. That's a joke to me. I mean, that's hysterical. You think about that? Seriously. You
Yes.
got us, we got $1,200, right? In a check. Kanye West got 2 million, and there are other stories like that. But that's what we're living in right now.
No. But the good. Let me focus on the positive, like you said. The fact is that the American people realize how essential these agricultural workers are, and they're feeding
I'll stop
America.
you. I'll disagree a little bit. I don't think all of America knows.
No,
I don't.
Yes,
Seriously,
yeah.
I don't think they do.
But the spotlight is there, and if they
need to
don't
draw it
know,
out.
we're speaking about it, and hopefully they understand that they are essential, they are important, and they're helping.
They're feeding us.
America.
They're feeding us.
And they're
They're
putting their
literally
life at risk.
dying. This is not even funny, but it's a joke. It's rhetorical, right? They're dying to feed us. These
Exactly.
people that look like you and me, right? These people
Exactly.
are dying to feed us, because if they don't, they won't survive at home. It's an ugly conundrum, but one that we don't have an answer for. Now, and I'll put it on record. I'll say myself, I wish I could do something about it. I honestly do. The only thing I can do is get on a mic and a camera and talk about it, and get America and others to understand that our people are hurting. And our people aren't our people because they're brown. They're our people because they're Americans dying to feed us. It almost sounds stupid, right? They're dying to feed us. But that is the case. The numbers, I'm going to say it again. I'll leave that, and then you guys go. But the numbers as of right now, Mexican Americans, Hispanic Americans are the largest percentage in terms of death rate right now in America, out of all subgroups. And you sit there, you're shaking your head, people like, kind of know, but what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do?
Well, you know what, Richard, you're mentioning something very important. We are the forgotten people. These are forgotten people, and the only way we can bring.
You've been watching my shows?
Well, sometimes.
I'll give you one line, and then I'm gonna let you continue. So one of my lines I did on the 10 Minutes of Truth, I was like, okay, so we're having a conversation in America right now, and it's an ugly conversation, sometimes good, sometimes bad. It's about white folk and black folk and killing, right, and stuff. Let's put it on the table. That's going on right now. All right, that's a fact. And I'm not saying one is wrong and one is right. I'm just saying that's a reality, that's a statement, and it's data-driven, it's fact. You can see it anywhere. My line on air was white to black, no stop at brown. Now, who the hell are we? Right? Your point.
Yeah.
We're the silent unknown. Everybody's like talk about the silent majority, right? We really are silent. We're not very heard. And even from our politicians, the politicians we do have, they do, but they don't make anything happen. Because we wouldn't even be talking about it if they did. Think about that. If they did something, the three of us would not be talking about the silence of Mexicans in America that aren't advocated for, legislated for, again, dying right now to feed America. What the hell are we doing about it? That's it. Go ahead and finish your point, Coach.
No, my point is, if you look at I have a lot of respect for the African American community because they demanded to Biden.
That's it.
They
put it on him.
They put it on him. They put it on him. Hey, you're gonna pick.
And he did it.
You're gonna pick an African American woman.
Right.
And it was never really questioned from the beginning.
Correct.
And you know what? And I think some of us, that's what's wrong with our culture. We're very passive. Maybe
That's kind of what I was saying
Yeah,
earlier about it's a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
Some of, and I've had these talks actually with these two guys right here. Some of our greatest attributes end up being a deterrent for us having that kind of success, because we are humble, we are respectful, we're hardworking, we put our heads down and we go to work. But every time we put our heads down, someone puts their heads up and gets picked. That's it. That's what we're talking about. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong one way or the other. What I'm saying, like on my end, I'm not there anymore. I'm going to say something. I'm saying something. I'm doing a network where we're saying something. And again, it's not just for Mexican people, because my rationale, my thought process is always, when everybody in America is valued and heard, then the full fabric of America strengthens. And I've said openly, and this is going to be, I'll give too much here, but kind of a backbone and the gist of the book that I'm working on right now is that my argument as a U.S. history teacher, and you're a history teacher, so you understand, every group, every subgroup, every ethnicity has come to this country and gotten their piece of the American dream, contributed and taken, both good.
Yeah.
When those groups come to this country and give their social, their vigor, their vitality, it bolsters and strengthens the American fabric. I've said, and I'm arguing vehemently with anybody, and I'll go tooth and nail with anybody, including my son's instructors at Harvard. I don't give a damn anymore. I'm there. If Mexican America realizes its full potential, this country gets stronger overnight. I mean that. I mean it. If this country, Mexican America, all the Mexicans in America, if we realize our full potential and come out strong, the whole damn country gets stronger. And I'll die with that saying, because I honestly believe that. I know that. I don't even believe it. I know it. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, because we're not working to our potential. And we got to bring that out. And
Right.
maybe that's one of the reasons maybe Eliseo and some of us are working, maybe as elected officials, to make sure that we bring that potential.
I'm talking about politicians. I'm picking on you guys.
But as elected officials.
Hey, you guys are in. I can't get in, man. I can't buy my way in, apparently.
But we're talking as three educators here that we do understand, being in the classrooms, what the problem is.
We know the problem. Correct. Correct.
But we got to find the solutions, and the solutions is really talking to our young people and telling them, look, there's a lot for you out there. Get out there and quit acting like a second-class citizen.
And expect it.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
And
And so, I mean,
we-
you kind of know. You've seen me grow up. I learned to not just accept anymore. Even though I'm still humble and respectful, I've still to this day never called an older gentleman by his first name like a buddy. I still call you coach. You know, I'll never disrespect you. I mean, we're not 90 years apart, but I've taught by my mom, have respect for someone older than you, because no matter what you think you know, if that person's lived a year or a day longer, they may know something you don't. So respect, right?
Yeah.
And I've learned to balance that while still being aggressive and hungry. And I'll say it for you two, to me, and back to you two. What we're doing here tonight, what I'm doing with my network, I am addressing those issues. That's my way of addressing those issues. I don't have Jeff Bezos' money, and I can't just change it overnight. But what I can do is draw attention and lucid focus on the problems, which we know. We know the problems, and now you start talking about solutions. But you got to draw those problems out. If you want to solve a problem, you have to know of its existence, and you got to be unafraid to put it on the table and call it out, because a lot of Mexican people are afraid to put it on the table because they don't want to be the one that gets caught, the messenger. They don't want to be the messenger that gets shot. I get shot all the time. I got so many holes, it's not even funny. I get shot all the time, trust me. Well, you guys kind of know. Why do you think it's so hard for me to get elected? I aggravate and bother a lot of people because I speak the truth.
But at the same time, you fought and you put your life on the line for the ideals of this country. And a lot of people need to realize that even these brown faces, our people's blood was shed in those battlefields.
We serve in very, very big numbers in relation to every other ethnicity. Mexican American people we are a service-bound people. We give. We give. And listen, I'll do it again in a heartbeat. I've even told people I'd go right now. I'm in decent shape again. I have more time. Hey, my kids are out of the house. I get more cardio. You know, cardio's the bitch. I mean, cardio's hard because cardio takes time. You can't just if I want to go hit my arms, that's like 15, 20 minutes of a good workout. Cardio, to actually start sweating and start cutting some chunk, that takes time, man. So now I've got a little bit. I'm not at a tournament every weekend or, practices after school. I got a little bit of time. But yeah, so I mean, if you do those things and you flesh them out, and I'm going to go back to what we're doing here tonight. We know the problems. I have a line that I say all the time on air: simple in concept, difficult in application. And it applies for me to everything, because we all know right and wrong. We really do. The average American, the average human being knows right and wrong. The difficult part is applying it and having the strength of character to see it through. Because when other people start talking, or you're going to look bad, or they're going to make fun of you, or they're going to talk smack about you, make you ostracize you within your community or social group, then we don't do the right thing. And so that's always my line: simple in concept, difficult in application, because it's hard for the average person to do the right thing.
Yeah. So going back to education, if I may.
Yeah, let's wrap there.
With Mr. Sandoval was able to establish a standalone dual enrollment program in the community college system at Golden Plains, formerly Tranquility, where he was graduating, 20, he started with a few, 18, 20, up to 40 plus students that came out from high school.
Flesh that out for us so the mechanics of it when you say dual immersion, so that our audience understands? Not everybody's education.
Yeah, standalone dual enrollment. It's the concept simple. Is you take courses that lead to a degree. You don't take courses like aerobics, archery, and so forth, because those units are just enrichment. that in a sense, I don't want to say they're wasted time, because they're still enriching our lives, whether it improves our health, and they're important.
But would you rather have the meat and papas?
Exactly. So we want to make sure that our kids take classes that lead to a degree.
Right.
That at the end of so many units, they're going to have a 2-year degree, so they can easily transfer. And
Okay, so that's dual enrollment. So while they're in high school,
standalone, because there are some vocational trainings, they call it CTE, that they're very good programs, whether it's welding, construction.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get a handle on. So
Yes.
for the audience, so is that in high school?
In high school,
At the same
in
time.
high school at the same time,
So taking the college courses
taking college courses
and taking the high school courses concurrently.
Yes, concurrently, it's the dual enrollment. But the standalone dual enrollment are classes that do transfer when you want to transfer from the community college to a state university or a UC.
Right.
That class transfer, like for example, biology, health, political science one, the general ed courses that help you advance towards a degree.
Correct.
Because you can take, you be a full-time college student, and those courses are vocational training courses. Then you decide to say, I have 50 units, I want to transfer, and say, you can't bring those units with you because
Right.
they didn't meet a general education course. And so CT courses, vocational, are for certificates. And certificates they're good for the community college. And those are great programs. But also our students need to be educated for those that have the choice and want the choice of transferring to a 4-year institution or the UC system like UC Merced. They are required to take classes that stand alone, that do carry that weight,
Okay.
like you said, the meat and papas.
That's it, baby. A little bit of salsita and I'm good to go.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's a certificate. It's anemic.
I got
We're going to
one-
be
I got one
anemic
for you. I got
without
one
that.
for you. So you can have some meat and papas, a little bit of stuff on the side. So would you like to have some tortillas with that?
Of course.
Corn or flour?
Corn.
Yeah.
Gotta have that maize, baby. That's what I'm saying.
Mr. Sandoval here has been instrumental and pioneer to advocate in Golden Plains, and we want to model that in Fireball as a trustee, as an elected official. I see that this is a game changer.
Yeah.
This is the vision. We want to get our kids the advantage, our sons and daughters. The parents tell me, I want my son and daughter to take classes early because that's thinking out of the box, so they can save money and not get in so much debt. That's a concern for parents. And now that we're in a position as an elected official, is advocate the vision, education for all. And we have a solid program. And for speaking of Fireball, we just had the stats that we had
Go
between
Eagles.
80 and 90
Go
students.
Eagles.
Between 80 and 90 students, and it's increasing. We're buying books, we're buying materials to give them that advantage. And especially during the pandemic, they're asking us, well, how are we going to make up all that missed college or, education? And by promoting and enrolling our kids, especially right now that they're not playing sports, there's no
Right.
excuse. Give them a leg up
That's
in
what I'm
their
saying.
career.
That's what I'm saying.
And let me just be clear that I have family members, nephews that have benefit from CT programs. They're good programs, but our kids need to choose what they want to go into, whether it's going to social work, whether they want to go into nursing, whether they want to go and become a doctor, a lawyer. But we cannot make those choices for them. We got to let the kids that are determined to succeed and not just promote CT courses, not to take anything away from those instructors, but also they need to have choices. And we want to take classes that are going to help you get to a degree faster, opposed to going into all these other enrichment, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna need to wrap. So we're clear. So we're gonna do. We'll work out the details on the day that this thing comes up. I'll put it out on. We're doing on air, right? Not behind the mirror or behind the curtain. I just like telling the truth. People know what I'm doing. Oh well, and it's transparency. But you guys will be up next week. I'll put this show up, and then I think immediately after that, we'll get you guys in here while I'm out of area, but we'll get you guys in here. And yeah, I'm gonna give you homework. I'm gonna give you both homework. You gotta talk to each other, coordinate, and come up with a cool name, for the show that you can be comfortable. Something that's descriptive, obviously for, the part of Fresno that we're talking about, West Fresno County.
Yes.
And, a conglomeration of all those little communities out there that, are of value. Even, some are a little bigger than others, but they're all a community that needs, attention and, some focus on the things that the kids are doing there, that their communities are doing that are positive, that are advancing, their communities in terms of their academic attainment at the very least. Because that's, like you said, Coach, like we're all educators. One way or the other, we're all educators here. We're committed to making sure our kids get a quality education as a backbone for their opportunity to do whatever they want. Look, if a kid gets great, academic education and they never do anything with it, so be it. But it won't be because we didn't give it to them. It'll be choice. And in my world, that's all American. If he chooses not to, he or she chooses not to, then we gave them their opportunity. If they chose not to use the opportunity, then that's their choice. But 9 times out of 10, you get better opportunity, you get better, better choices, better examples. So that's your big homework. You guys figure out what you want to call the show. We'll put it up coming into, get you a little bit of a rollout. We'll announce and talk about some of the new shows that we have, including yours. And then, like I said, you guys, as far as I'm concerned, you guys, I trust both of you, to do things right and to be straight, honest, clean, and, thoughtful in your approach to the issues that you want to, draw out. And then, and I know that was more on you, Coach, like the focus, draw focus on the positive things that are going out, in those communities with kids and other things,
Yes.
Other things. And since both of you are elected officials, you have the ability, to pull the levers of government, at least within your own communities, and say, hey, listen, we're going to do a show, and I'd like to, maybe that kid over there who won an award for this, or maybe that kid who got an award from the Kiwanis Club or something like that, right? Service organization or VFWs, anything like that. Anything, that's fair game. That's fair game. Whatever you guys want to do, it's positive, it's progressive, it's moving things forward, it's making, it's making change in your communities by giving them the attention they need, and then maybe they do more.
And let me tell you here, Mr. Sandoval, he's very, very humble, but he's running for mayor of Kerman. And so talk about speaking out and creating change. We need to be the change we want to see in our communities. Correct. And
Absolutely.
Why not?
Absolutely.
We pay taxes, we're citizens, and other people should ask themselves, why not?
Yeah.
I think that the time to put our issues on the table, like anybody else, that's the American way.
It is. I saw a lot obviously lately on TV, but it was Chris Webber, the old Michigan basketball player, and they got him, and he was about to break down, man. Some of these, he's a black man, and it was right after the young dude that got shot in the back 7 times. It's like you're living in a different world, man. Where people are actually making excuses for the man being shot in the back 7 times in the back. Like, what the hell? What the hell are we living in? So anyway, they asked Chris Webber, this goes to all the other stuff too that has come before, right? The George Floyd thing, Breonna Taylor, I can go on and on. It's all there. And he looked right in the camera and said, that young people, product of a teaching mom. His mom was a teacher. Kid's mom was a teacher, Chris Webber. And he was an NBA player and really, standout basketball player in college, but his mom's a teacher. And you could hear it when he's talking. He was in an education household because he values education. So he basically put it out there, and he said, he's visibly unhappy. He maybe want to cry because he was they don't know what to do. They're frustrated, right? We thought we were done with this, right? Because it was seen in broad daylight. And you got another young black guy shot down in broad daylight in front of everybody again. And so you can imagine, I'm not a black guy, so I don't know what that is. I can't know that. All I can know is that that's not good, and that kid's hurting. This guy's hurting. So he said, if not now, when? And he basically pointed out and said, you young people, you guys, not me, not us, you young people, you do it. You take care of it. Because if not now, when? because it's been waiting and it hasn't been resolved. It hasn't been solved. So I'm with you 100% on that. And not because, you know, a young brother said that, but because a young human being said that, right? You know,
Yes.
the skin tone may be a little bit different, but it's the same damn thing. If not now, when? And I'm going to say it, I'm saying on my end, and I'm asking you guys to do the same. You have free reign here with the SuperMex Network. If you're, as long as it's not a lie or a falsehood or playing games and you're telling the truth, we need to speak the truth. We need to put it out there so that our people see it and other people see it and know that we're not going to be silent anymore. I'm not. You know that. I was never silent. I was never silent. You know that. That was a bad one. Huh? That was bad. All right, so we got to wrap. But thank you, gentlemen, both for being here. Again, I know I got love for both of you. Respect, and I'm really, really looking forward to the guests that you guys are going to roll out, the issues that you're going to bring forward. Because listen, some of this stuff I will never know if I don't hear it from you two, because I'm not out on the west side. Okay, I don't live out there, so I get a different saturation of information. But I'm really, really looking forward to what you guys are going to be discussing week to week, talking about your communities, your people, because your people are my people. Your people are my people. I got to say that over and over again. And again, it has nothing to do with the color. It's nothing to do with the color. It has everything to do with the fact they're Americans. They deserve the same attention that all the other kids and all the other people get. So that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for being here. This is SuperMex Nation. You're part of it now, whether you like it or not. SuperMex Nation, baby. I'm going international now.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so let's wrap up here. So this is a recorded show. You guys are going to get this sometime this coming week. We'll just say it. So I'm recording on a Friday, right before Cheap Date Night, which is going to come up in a little bit. You guys won't see that, or you'll see it, but then this will come up later. So this new show will flesh out, we'll announce, and we'll put out. And Señores Gamino and Señor Sandoval, my coach, they will have their show, and they're going to be bringing some good stuff to you. Both of these guys got good hearts. They don't do anything evil, bad, corrupt, wrong. They just take care of kids. All right, we need a lot of that right now in a lot of different ways. So I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do. That'll be up next week. And you now have the Island Taste with Terry Lalea. Maria Rangel will be back with TV Musica. My daughter is in New York now, giving us information and her life and her world from Sarah Lawrence College. We have the Miller Brothers on Wednesdays at 8, and we're growing. I've got more coming. I'm going to forget some, but the Modern Day Queens, that's a new one also. That's going to be up this coming week, and that's going to be a shot in the arm. You guys are like, whoa, what is that? A bunch of young ladies, and there's something, boy. I'll leave it at that. But they're going to get up and they're going to talk about issues that young ladies deal with. And we need young ladies articulating and talking about the things that they have to deal with and their travails in life and how they approach them, how they deal with things, including dating. I don't want to get into that stuff. That's ugly. But so again, we have plenty of shows coming. It's going to increase. And then I said, again, sometime within a coming week or two, I'm going to lay on you a really big announcement that I'm really happy about going forward. And it's going to not only increase our reach and distribution, but it's going to change the foundation of how we grow forward, because there's going to be more people involved wanting to be a part of what we're doing. And that's all good for you. All right? That is all good for you. That's it for tonight. Thank you for being here. SuperMex Nation is out. I caught you.